Hello, mis amores. It's a brand new day. It's a beautiful day to save lives. And how to save a life? I will tell you in this video. The only way I know how to is by either watching Grey's Anatomy apparently, or by providing you with some recipes or testing recipes for you so that you don't have to, because they might kill you. And well, if I don't die, then you won't. It's my prerogative. Wow, not even a minute into this video and I already made a song reference. Shocker. If this wasn't gay enough, then that fact surely was. Some of you may or may not know that I have been going to the gym, and so I'm always in need of recipes that provide me with enough protein. You can go to the gym so often, but if you don't take enough protein or have enough protein intake, then it kind of will be for nothing, and I'm still struggling with that, mainly because I don't eat meat. Many of my sources are still animal products, but not the meat. So I was then happy to have come across some very viral recipes that claim to be protein rich, and we're here to test them. See if they're viral for a reason. Yeah, mainly I just need them to taste good. I don't really count my macros or whatever it's called, which is also a thing that many of the really big people do, or not just really big people, but many people that are into fitness. But I don't know, I think that's kind of dangerous, so I don't really want to ever go there. I will just trust the people that put it on the internet saying that they're protein rich. That said, I think we should start with the first recipe. This is the most viral one out of the three that we're gonna make. Also, a friend of mine sent it to me, telling me to make it, and then I didn't, so he had to make it himself. But he then told me it was good, so I have a lot of faith in this. But then again, we often disagree. Maybe it's not good. We're gonna make a cottage cheese wrap, which has 25 grams of protein. So I found two videos for this recipe, and there are probably more, but the first one has 20.9 million views. The other one has 4 million views. This is basically a cottage cheese mixture that you then bake, let cool, and then just treat as a wrap. I've read a lot of comments that said that they were afraid that they wouldn't like it because they usually don't like cottage cheese, but it works in this. I did not know that cottage cheese was so controversial. Is it because of the texture? Let me know. If you guys don't like cottage cheese, then why don't you like cottage cheese? And let's make a mixture, because it'll have to bake for 35 to 40 minutes. Or you can already preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit. Start by adding 230 grams of cottage cheese to a bowl. Then we add 2 eggs. Oh, I'm so dumb. Don't add it to a bowl, add it to a blender. Add 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. And then just add seasoning of your choice, or herbs of your choice. This is some dried basil, oregano, a little bit of rosemary. Now you blend this. Or maybe I can very vigorously mix this. Wait, my garlic clove. Time for the oven. So the person in the video said it's important to spray your oven tray, then put the parchment paper on top, spray it with some oil. I don't have that. It's not really that big of a thing in Germany. I guess I'm just gonna do this. That's basically like spray, right? Now we pour it on here in hopefully a rectangular shape. Then again, it'll probably do what it wants to do anyway. It's quite liquid. Although you can shape it a little bit. A perfect little shape. Now this goes into the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. Obviously you can already prepare your toppings, although I won't top it with anything crazy. But I've got 40 minutes to think about that. Probably even longer, because it'll have to cool. Hello. 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 Are we all nervous and excited to see what my cottage cheese wrap looks like? I was like, how did I start in this sentence? It's been so long. It got a little bit darker than I would have liked, but I think we're still fine. Here's my baby. The crust is dark. I let it cool down completely. Apparently you have to, but it's like really bendable. Smells very eggy. My plate is a little bit too small. Usually I would add cottage cheese to a wrap, but I feel like this isn't really what we're looking for here. You could add some maybe pesto. I'm just gonna go with a bit of avocado that is hopefully soft enough for me to just mash on top of the wrap. Yeah, kind of. I took 4 small tomatoes. I didn't realize that this was gonna be as big. I wanna be really crazy and add a beetroot. I'm just gonna cut it all on top of this because why not? Now I'm just gonna season it. So once you have probably filled it a little more than I did, you're just gonna cover it. It's good that this happened to me right now because I wanna try it on its own, but obviously you won't really eat it on its own. Oh, very crumbly texture, very eggy. Almost tastes like pancake. Honestly, not really amazing, but also not bad. I've seasoned it quite a bit, but maybe you have to season it even more. It's definitely not bad. It doesn't taste like cottage cheese at all anymore. I know I'm saying this and I like cottage cheese, but I really don't think you will taste the cottage cheese. If you don't like egg, then you won't like this. It's edible. I don't think I'll make this again, but let me try it with whatever else I put on top, even though this is probably also not the most ideal stuff that I put on top. Cheers. It's really nice with the beetroot. The texture is very interesting. I definitely don't think I could eat this like every day. It's like it dissolves in your mouth, not in the good way. I don't know, I'm not a fan. I can eat this whole thing without hating it, but I think then I'll be done with this. What a shame. I really thought I was gonna love this. Not bad, but I don't love it, and I needed to love it. Oh, it's supposed to be a breakfast wrap. Well, I like my breakfast sweet anyway, so I guess it was just never meant for me. I'm sure I will love the second recipe though. I'm really excited for the next one. It seems to be a very low effort, fresh dinner. And those are my favorite. Even though you're gonna have to use the oven, and those are my least favorite meals. I just hate using the oven, but that's just a personal thing. I just don't have the patience to wait for anything to be done in the oven. What do I do in the meantime? Hate it. Hate it. I'm here to test this out for you anyway. And maybe if it's like really, really good, I'll make it again. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I will just pop it in the oven with the previous recipe because I'm starting to make this one while the previous wrap is in the oven. Anyway, didn't even tell you what we're gonna make. We're gonna make a protein-rich tomato soup. Sorry, it's called high protein tomato soup. I'm not sure I've ever done tomatoes. I'm actually pretty sure I have never made tomato soup myself. Like honestly, the only times I've ever eaten tomato soup was like these 5-minute mug soup thingies that are very common here in Germany. But that was back in the day also, and I would add a lot of pepper and cheese to it. That was really good. So I'm excited to see whether or not I will like a fresh tomato soup, but I'm pretty sure I will. Hello, a little birdie. It told me that you should subscribe if you haven't already, and tell someone else to subscribe and watch my videos as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Because it has to go in the oven. Let's just start. So we're gonna use 8 to 9 of these medium-sized vine-ripe tomatoes. The person in the video didn't get rid of the insides, so I won't either. Maybe it adds to the flavor. Also, it's less work. And honestly, it'll be pureed anyway, so might as well keep it in there. I've also recently read that a lot of people don't like tomatoes. Like whenever I see a recipe that contains tomatoes and then so many comments are like, ew, does that work without tomato? I'm just like, tomato is the main ingredient, but okay. Yeah, I'm just super surprised because I thought tomato would be one of the things that so many people like. Maybe it's just because I'm Italian. That said, I don't like eating watermelon, so maybe I'm not one to judge. Then you add 1 big shallot or 2 smaller ones, and also about 6 cloves of garlic. Ooh, that already looks so good, right? Now we sprinkle it with salt, pepper, dried basil, and oregano again, and some red pepper flakes. Then just a bit of olive oil. Then you can technically mix it, but I feel like it's already pretty well mixed and distributed. Luckily, I didn't clean the blender from the first recipe. We're also gonna add cottage cheese later, so basically I can just reuse it without cleaning it. Yay, yay, yay. Into the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. Again! Who wants some high protein tomato soup? I do. Yeah, it's time to blend. I don't really know why I had to let them cool down, the tomatoes, but I did do that. I don't know if my blender is big enough, so I might have to do that in 2 batches. So again, my blender is still dirty. Don't hate me, because I'm beautiful. I've been saying don't hate me because I'm beautiful in the chat a couple of times now, and I'm always afraid that the other person doesn't know the song and just thinks I'm actually saying don't hate me because I'm beautiful. That would be so awkward. To that blender, we're also going to add 240 grams of cottage cheese, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and 120 milliliters of bone broth, which I guess would add more protein as well, but obviously I won't be using that, so I'm just gonna use a veggie broth. Well, you couldn't even see. Let's mix this. And lastly, just add some chopped basil, as in I'm chopping it. And it's not very chopped. Here is our high protein tomato soup. That looks really good. It doesn't look very red as you would expect from a tomato soup, but it looks good. I don't know what else to show you. It's a soup, so cheers to that. That's really good. Mine is very spicy. Why is mine so spicy? What did I add to it again? The chili flakes, they're coming through, but still in a good way. I could eat this entire soup right now, but mainly because I didn't heat it up. Then again, we could just treat it as a gazpacho. This is like a summer soup. Honestly, I will probably not do it again, but I wish I did. I have to remember this one because it's actually really good and very easy to make. If you were to make a 3-course meal, it's a nice appetizer. And then whoever you make this for is like, I don't like tomatoes. And you're like,
fuck you, I never liked you anyway.
Hopefully the last recipe will be just as good. Even better, maybe. I like better things. Are we ready for recipe number 3? I hope it's been going great because I have yet to try any of the first 2 ones. Let's do recipe number 3. And this finally is something that we prepare, make, and eat right away. No oven involved. No. This last one is a high protein version of, I think, a Middle Eastern dish. Also Greek. It's a crispy moussaka roll. It's like an eggplant dish, but we're also gonna roll it. I've never had it before. I'm saying this after just having Googled that dish. I think I'm really gonna like this. Fingers crossed. Here's everything that you're gonna need. 120 grams of ground beef. I've got a vegan one. 50 grams of passata. This is a quarter of a small onion, a shallot really, but I don't really differentiate. This is half of an eggplant sliced with a mandolin, so as thin as possible. But I must say, I feel like I could have done a thinner job with just a knife. I can say that now, not having tried it. This is 80 grams of grated mozzarella. This is 80 grams of high protein cottage cheese. I don't know, this is just normal one. Some dried thyme, oregano, also some cinnamon. You can add a little bit of grated parmesan on top, which I guess I will for the protein, and a bit of salt and pepper. We're gonna start with a beef filling by combining the minced meat, onion, passata, and the spices in a pan. Now onto the part where everything can go wrong. Brr, 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 brr. Technically we're assembling, but we're cooking the whole thing. I don't know how well I'll be able to talk. So you will heat a non-stick pan on medium heat and evenly sprinkle the grated mozzarella. Then you lay the eggplant down, slightly overlapping, and cook it for 2 to 3 minutes or until the eggplant is slightly translucent. Once that happens, you top the eggplant with the mince, the cottage cheese, the thyme, cinnamon, and half the parmesan. Although I have already added the thyme and cinnamon to the minced meat. And once the mozzarella underneath starts to brown, you fold it inwards to create a roll. Oh no, sorry guys. Not really working that well for me, not gonna lie. Oh my god. We don't have a roll. I think we're just gonna leave it here. This is just not happening. We have this. Yeah, same bro. It might look questionable. Let's just pretend it looks like in the video, and then we can say it's pretty. It seems like I have not used enough eggplant. I feel like it needed to be wider spread, and they needed to overlap a little bit more. And then also the ratio of my filling to the eggplant just wasn't right. It might not look pretty, but it still remains the same. I think this is gonna be delicious. See, this is already the perfect bite size, so it was all on purpose, really. Wow, the cinnamon is strong, but actually it's pretty nice. My eggplant or aubergine, if you want to talk British, it's still a bit crunchy, which I don't mind. It has some texture. I think in this case, it's not really supposed to have any texture. I blame it on the mandolin because that was just the thinnest setting. It's not my fault. This is really good. And honestly, to save yourself the trouble, I wouldn't even try turning this into a roll because just eat it. A great way to end this video. You should try this, guys, if you're into eggplant. I think this would probably also work with the zucchini, maybe even better, but very tasty. Loves it.
Loves it.
And there you have it, guys. We have tested all of the viral high protein recipes that I could find. I'm sure there are more out there because all of them contained cottage cheese. Obviously, I also could have gone in the sweet direction, but I didn't really want to do that. This was quite a successful video. I loved / really liked 2 of the 3 recipes. The cottage cheese breakfast burrito situation was fine. It was good until it wasn't. We'll just leave it at that. My video was also good until it wasn't, but only because it has to end at some point. Don't worry, there will be another video next week, so not all hope is lost. I'll be back, and I hope that you'll be back as well. It is very hot in here, so I will just say goodbye with my hopefully soothing voice. I like using that voice actually because it's not very exhausting to use. I'ma leave. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Entonces, nos vemos la próxima vez. Bye.